Kelly woke up in the morning with a warm smile on her face. As usual, she got up carefully not to wake her sleeping husband, Tyler, who was a successful engineer at an IT company. They enjoyed the comforts of life their family could afford. Kelly and Tyler were happy in their marriage and had a wonderful 2-year-old son named Derek. The morning was quiet, and Kelly started preparing breakfast, looking forward to spending more time with Derek and Tyler as it was Tyler's day off. They had plans to go to the park, and Kelly was eagerly anticipating the day with her family. When Tyler woke up and joined her in the kitchen, he was his usual cheerful and caring self. They laughed and chatted over breakfast before heading to the park. Derek laughed and ran around the meadow, while Tyler and Kelly joyfully watched their happy son. However, the happiness of Kelly was clouded by a strange discovery that happened later that day. Upon returning home, while helping Tyler unload the car, she accidentally found an unfamiliar package in the trunk, and it made her smile disappear. Inside the package were intimate toys and women's role-play costumes. This discovery made her worry and suspect that Tyler was hiding something from her. All these items seemed entirely out of place in his ordinary life and character. Kelly decided to confront her husband and find out whose things they were and what they were doing in his car. In the evening, when their son was asleep, Kelly couldn't hold back her curiosity and asked Tyler, what is this package I found in the car trunk? She placed the package on the table in front of him. Tyler took a deep breath and tried to find the right words. Kelly, it's a gift for you. I wanted to pleasantly surprise you and spice up our relationship. Kelly looked at him with disbelief. A gift for me? Are you really sure it's not for someone else? Tyler nodded. Of course, dear, it's for you. I wanted to add some excitement to our life, but it seems like it was an unfortunate choice. Although Kelly couldn't immediately decide whether to believe Tyler or not, she decided to give him a chance to explain the situation. She understood that people sometimes do strange things in an attempt to surprise their loved ones. Kelly decided to wait and see how Tyler would act in the future. However, all through the night, Kelly couldn't shake her sense of unease. Deep down, she felt something was amiss and decided that she needed to unravel this mystery. Over the course of several days, Kelly began to closely monitor Tyler, taking note of his actions and movements. She noticed that he increasingly stayed late at work, which heightened her suspicions. Kelly picked up her phone and started looking for a private detective in her city. She found someone who seemed reliable and gave him a call, explaining her suspicions and the need for an investigation. The detective agreed to take on the case and began covertly observing Tyler, collecting information and evidence. Soon, he made an unexpected discovery. Tyler regularly met with a woman who appeared to be older than him. They would leave for a downtown hotel and spend several hours there. For Kelly, this news came as a shock. Her suspicions were confirmed, and she was confronted with a horrifying truth. Her husband had been unfaithful to her. Now she held compelling evidence of his infidelity in her hands. The question of what to do next became more pressing, and she realized that she would have to make some tough decisions. Kelly received an address and the key to a secret agent's room. She was eager to find out what was happening and was determined to uncover the mystery that had plagued her for too long. She parked her car near the hotel and approached the door to the room with a trembling heart. She inserted the key into the lock and cautiously opened the door. Before her unfolded a scene she could never have imagined. Her husband, Tyler, was undressed and tied to the bed, with a gag in his mouth. A woman emerged from the bathroom, whom Kelly recognized as Tyler's boss from work. She was dressed in a provocative nurse costume. At first, Kelly couldn't move, as if frozen in horror. Her world crumbled, and the reality of the scene before her was unbearable. All she could do was stifle a muted scream. Tyler and his boss were shocked by her sudden appearance. They tried to explain or justify the situation, but their words sounded hollow and senseless. Kelly felt a mix of anger, shame, and sorrow. She could no longer ignore this terrible revelation. The tension in the room was unbearable, and she knew she had to take some action. In the end, she turned resolutely and walked out of the room. Her own peace and her family's future were more important than attempting to explain or change what had happened. Soon after, Kelly filed for divorce, leaving Tyler and his boss in the past. It was one of the most challenging and simultaneously courageous decisions of her life, as she prepared to start a new chapter in her life. To cope with her emotions and make the right decision, Kelly began attending therapy. Therapy helped her express her feelings, understand her needs, and determine what she wanted in her new life. She also consulted with a lawyer to initiate the divorce process and addressed important matters concerning shared property, alimony, and the upbringing of Derek. With each passing day, Kelly began to heal. She found support from close friends and family who stood by her during this difficult period. Derek became her pillar of strength, and she dedicated much time and attention to her son to ensure he felt stable and secure. She also decided to focus on her own career and personal well-being. Kelly returned to work, which she had set aside due to family responsibilities, and began rebuilding her professional path. She found that her job provided not only financial independence but also the self-assurance she so desperately needed. Tyler continued to make efforts to bring Kelly and Derek back into his life. Despite her rejections and doubts, he didn't give up. He apologized many times and tried to convince Kelly that he had changed and was willing to do whatever it took to correct his mistakes. Kelly's heart was torn between the desire to reunite her family and the fear that Tyler might return to his old habits. She wondered if it was possible to restore a normal life after such betrayal. One night, while drinking in a bar, Tyler decided to make another attempt to see Kelly and Derek. He got behind the wheel of his car and headed to their home, hoping he could persuade Kelly to meet with him. In a moment, he lost control of the car and couldn't brake in time. His car crashed into a tree with devastating force, resulting in a terrible accident. An ambulance arrived at the scene, trying to save Tyler, but his injuries were too severe. He passed away on the spot. It was something Kelly could never have expected. Kelly learned of this tragedy from the police. It was an unexpected blow that shook her to the core. All her emotions overwhelmed her, from accusations and anger to grief and regret. After the tragic death of Tyler, Kelly was left in deep mourning and pain. She couldn't believe that he no longer existed, and the sense of loss enveloped her every day. She tried to support Derek and be strong for him, but inside she was shattered. A few days after the tragedy, Kelly went to the doctor to learn more about her health. There she received the surprising news that she was pregnant. It was a shocking revelation, and Kelly couldn't believe her ears. She already felt lonely and vulnerable after losing Tyler, and now she was confronted with this new reality. Another child of Tyler was growing inside her. This news was like a sudden flash of light in her dark world. Kelly faced a challenging choice: to continue the pregnancy or terminate it. The inner conflict was unbearable, and she didn't know which decision to make. She felt that this child was a part of Tyler, whom she had just buried. At the same time, she feared that another child would be a burden, and she wouldn't be able to provide the same care and attention as she did for Derek. Kelly felt utterly alone and bewildered, forced to make one of the most difficult decisions in her life. Grief and stress were unbearable, and she had no one to share her feelings with or seek support from.